Hey everyone, RemanX here. And oh yeah, my giant head's probably in the way of this message. Thank you, Proler, for always mentioning it on every video I'm in. Let's go ahead and just do this. And I'm going to get a little bit smaller here, and it's going to get a little bit tinier. And then I'll get out of the way of this text so you guys can read along with me. The Battle Pass is missing some gear. And the discrepancy, by the way, thank you guys for everyone who brought it to attention. Those of you guys on Reddit, those of you guys constantly in chat. And it hasn't been addressed as of yet, and it is impacting people as they start moving through Dark Dimension 4. And it's probably impacting you if you're doing Dark Dimension 3. There are missing components, and we're going to go over what we think is missing and what we think Scopely should do about it. Let's get into it right now. So if you guys notice, we have a snippet from the in-game mail that we received when the Battle Pass went live on patch day. And they charged us $20 for the Battle Pass and promised us that we would get the 90 superior gear tier parts for GT14 and 60 and 15 in the premium pass, and that we would get the 40 in the free pass, the freemium portion. So when we went back and we looked at it, we saw that we broke it down and there are 8 pieces missing from G15's. Those 8 pieces represent about $25 of values if you're refreshing cores at up to 200 a day. Oh, we did that math earlier today too. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. So Dark Dimension 4 has been completed, and we're looking back through a lens. Thanks to Yags' information, I now have some recommendations on what to bring up. But more importantly, we have to figure out where these missing pieces are and how long it's going to be before we get them. So let's start at the front here. First things first, this needs to be addressed. We're also missing 3 GT14 parts. So here's what we're missing from the roster portion. We're missing, and we've identified this thanks to the diligence of the community here. By the way, thank you, Jeff Fury, for providing us screenshots of the actual in-game mail. It had expired in my mail. I could not find it. Thank you again for keeping that in your mailbox. See, clicking on that red dot and not having terrible OCD matters. Anyway, that being said, we're missing this. We're missing 6 of these, and we're missing from the tech department. We need some tech support. All right, I'll see myself out after that one. We're missing 2 of these. Now, why is this significant? Well, because the sheer scarcity of G15 material is why you're seeing Krakens refresh the store. But more importantly, regardless of where you are in the game, if you paid for a Battle Pass and didn't get these rewards, but more importantly, even the free Battle Pass is missing the tiers. So there's 3, and we're going to identify that later. I'll probably have that information in the next 24 hours of the missing G14 gear. But there is multiple G15 gear missing as well. So the reason why we're going to talk about that is I am spending a ton of money a day trying to refresh this course because as a content creator, it is vital that I produce content that showcases my run through Dark Dimension 4 so I can make better recommendations. But for the first time ever, we were allowed into the first player completing the Dark Dimension content. And so we have information that we never had before. Which units worked, which units didn't work. I'm going to tell you this, it doesn't matter. The problem that we have is with the scarcity of this, unless you're willing to spend, I don't know, $25 a day on a free-to-play video game, you can take up cheaper characters. So I'm thinking, whether you look back to front to back, you need to look at value. Doom is a great character, but there's also reports that Doom just isn't holding in arena defense. And did we expect him to? Leave that in the comments if you'd like as well. Do we expect, with the amount of effort, that he was going to hold in arena defense? That's another question we have to ask ourselves. So what real value are we providing? So from that perspective, Doom is an incredible character. He is probably an offensive dynamo. I prefer offensive characters in war anyway, but still, would be amazing if after the amount of time and or money you're going to spend getting him that he actually was able to hold in arena. So is he meta-breakingly good? We knew there were going to be counters. We just didn't realize that it was going to be the same team that's already ahead in the arena. So let's take a look. If you're trying to get there, we have a planning tool. Vrondius has been showcasing it for a while. It doesn't matter. By the way, I changed my name to honor a fallen comrade, a fallen commander here in Marvel Strike Force. I am R.I.P. Fernando, a member of the Brazilian community. He was a doctor fighting on the front lines. His name was Fernando Lima in game, and we lost him this week. He lost his fight with COVID. So I'm honoring him. If you guys want to share and honor him, if you guys want to light up the leaderboards, light up your avatar with the Iron Man avatar, it's one way to celebrate his life as part of the community, as a hero who died saving others, ironically enough. So this doesn't matter. Me being on these leaderboards does not matter. Doesn't matter. One-shotting all these nodes doesn't make a difference. It's not going to get me Doom any faster. And so I'm holding off recommendations because it doesn't matter that this was clean or effective. It just means I'm going to be able to go through here on my second run and win and get them faster. But more importantly, probably just from that perspective, maybe that's what you do. You bring these characters up on the second run. The first run is going to be all about value. Some of these nodes have puzzles that have to be solved by certain characters, but very few characters have become essential. I watched Yags do global without Ghost, and he finished it. He used Emma. He finished it. Was it a slog? Well, for him, he had to refresh the norms more than usual, the nodes more than usual, but normal folks, people who don't want to spend that type of money to get through there, will just wait a day. And by the way, even if you wait that day, you're probably not going to see that gear. It is that scarce. And that is something I want to impress on everyone. The scarcity of gear means you don't have to bring the best units. You should bring the best units for your roster, or make the decision if you want to invest in a character who isn't currently holding an arena. That's a big deal. So if at the end of the day, all these investments were made and it's not changing your game in any significant way, why rush? Why fight your way to the head of the line? The food still sucks. That being said, my recommendation is there are some characters that have some value. Ignore what I have favorited here. I'm a mad scientist, and you should never do what I do because I do things so you don't have to. Character I think has amazing value outside of Dark Dimension 4 and is potentially future-proof until they make the clones absolutely useless. Mr. Sinister is one of the best characters that ever came to the game and one of the most fun characters to play. Now, he was the powerhouse in the Dark Dimension in ways that I can't even describe, from the ability to clone. But I also have a 7-star Sinister. And that is going to be really hard for a lot of folks to replicate. Although with the Chaos Theory coming up, you guys may have it, or beating DD3. You may have some saved. I don't regret bringing him up. And in fact, he's actually surpassed my recommendations for units on DD3 as the accompaniment for Phoenix because of the fact that he actually holds so well in Dark Dimension 4. So I'm not going to give you any recommendations, and I probably never will. I don't think that there's going to be a best team. I think if you guys want to hop on Twitch, ask me on Discord, we can talk about how it looks in your roster. This is going to be something that it's going to be not like DD3 where these units were required to win. This is going to be roster specific. The characters you choose that will have the biggest impact on your gameplay long term. How are they going to work with the new Greek grades? If we're talking about Greek grades, we know the Greek grade slider, the difficulty 3s, are almost dependent on which characters you have to brought up to G15 level 80. That's important to know. And that's going to be quite a few different units over time. So, do you bring up Dr. Octopus? Not if you don't use him. Do you bring up Mr. Sinister? Not if you don't use him. Do you bring up Hela? Not if you don't use her. Do you bring up Minerva? Probably. That being said, it is going to be something where I think everyone needs to understand it is going to be an individual conversation about the best units. And I think that's okay. The fact that there isn't a one-size-fits-all solution, that there isn't a one problem-solving area, and that being patient might overcome everything as more units are being added to the game that could potentially be the quote-unquote units. But we'll learn more as we go through this. So remember, I still do things so you guys don't have to. I am still holding recommendations. I probably regret a few of my choices seeing Yags go through it on the second time. And yes, you can auto the global nodes with Pimtech. But that's a poor design. All right, guys, thank you for watching. I love you guys very much. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff with the MSF 2020. Have a lot of giveaways, a lot of fun as we celebrate and kick 2020 out the door and open our arms to 2021, which has to be better than 2020. See you guys soon.